Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another video, and in this video I'm going to talk to you guys about another type of arrays that are present in Python called tuples. Some people call it as tuples as well, but I'm like, okay, sure, what's the big deal with it? Anyway, let's get started. First things first, let me just set this entire thing. I'll just go to presentation mode, and there we go. Now we can start. You see, when you write a tuple, when you write a list, let's say list 1, and I want to name out some of my favorite animes that I'm watching recently. Some of them I would say are My Hero Academia, okay, and there's another one that I'm watching, Dr. Stone. So if you guys are like into superheroes, definitely watch this, and if you guys are into science and anything that related to science and all of that, definitely watch my Dr. Stone. Wonderful. So far so good. And also if you guys are like a thriller fans, you can definitely watch Death Note. And yeah, I'll stop it with that. There's plenty of anime out there that I like. I'm going to stop it here. If you were to write a list, let's say you do something like this, tuple, let's say tuple. If you want to write a tuple, what you do is that you can write a tuple in two different ways. One, okay, representing tuples. You can represent them in two different ways. First one is that you write whatever you want as a list, you write it inside normal codes like this. Perfectly fine. Alright. Other way you can write it is, you just create a value and paste it as it is, and you don't need curly brackets like this. Totally works. Totally. And if you have a list or something like this, and you want to convert that to a tuple, you have a function available for that. So this part which I'm going to do is called list to tuple conversion or tuple conversion. Alright, how do you do that? Is nothing. It's very simple. All you just type is tuple, give a new name, tuple3. This one I'm going to give a proper name, fave anime, some of my favorite anime, and then I'm going to say tuple within brackets, and then I say list 1, and there you go. And now if I were to print in 3 different lines, tuple 1, let's see, I wonder, Control C, yeah, this one works. And if I were to say tuple 2, and then if I were to print out fave anime, turns out, let's see what these 3 will look like. All the 3 are exactly the same. So this way you can represent tuples in either one of these 2 ways. You can create a tuple with normal round brackets, or you can just remove those round brackets and go about with it. Or you can do is like you can just create a list and then use tuple conversions like this and go about with it. Cool. Now that's one part. Second thing is, let's try to add something to a tuple. Okay, let's say I'm like, okay, there I want to add one more tuple to it. Let's say if I were to go and say tuple3 dot append, and I want to add one more tuple that is one of my another anime that I'm favorite called Full Metal Alchemist. Full Metal Alchemist. It's already Python is a bit smart. It's already giving me something. It's just Python. It's just tuple3 is not available. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll try to add this to tuple 2. Doesn't matter. Now, if I were to try to add this and run this, first things first, I get an attribution error. It says tuple object has no attribute append. What does this mean? Now this tuple objects do not have this append function method in it, so you cannot add extra content to it. Meaning, once you create a tuple, you cannot add anything to it. That's the major key takeaway you can get from here. Once you create a tuple, you can't change it, whatever it be. And that's the importance of tuples. List, you can do whatever you want with it. Tuples, once you create one, you can't do much about it. Okay, so this is like can't add entries to a tuple. So that's the thing. This will throw an error. Okay. So if you want, you can try this out and check it out. Another thing that you can do is you can actually add tuples interestingly. For instance, let's say I want to, let's say I create a I create a tuple of some cities that I want to go and visit in Europe. Let me be a romantic and say that I want to go to Paris and be very cliched about it. Why not? And let me go and visit Göttingen. And Göttingen, fun fact, Göttingen is a city where one of my favorite mathematician and well-known mathematician Carl Friedrich Gauss was born. So that's interesting. And also I want to go and visit a city in Kiruna. Two of my friends actually studied in Kiruna, and turns out that place is pretty interesting because of all the auroras that you see on sea and winter skies and all. Magnificent, right? And this is a city list I want. Let's say I have a friend of mine, he or she has another list of cities he or she wants to go. Let's say Madrid, and let's say this person is more of a Greek mythology fan, so wants to go to Athens and also wants to go to Italy, and so he or she wants to go to Rome, let's say. Why not, right? That's a good choice. Now if both of us wanted to club things together and want to merge club things together, all you can do is I can just say cities and then say cities 1 plus cities 2. That's it. And if I were to print cities, I give some lines over here so that this part is pushed up. And when I run this, there you go. Now this tuple is actually a concatenation or addition of two different tuples. So you can call this as concatenation of two tuples. Perfectly fine. This works perfectly fine. Alright, now this works, and now what else you can do is you can actually multiply elements in a tuple. What do I mean by that? So you know that joke, as a joke this is used, like if you're late to a class, your teacher might complain, you say that I will not come to class late or something, right? Like if you are a Python coder, you can actually make a joke out of it. If your teacher were to tell you that I will not come, I will tell you to write an excuse saying that I will not come to late 108 times or something like that, you can actually make this in one line. Watch. If I were to say create something like message, and then I say message equals I will not come to school late anymore. Maybe if this is the message you want, and you want your teacher expects you to write it like maybe 100 times or something, all you have to do is this. And if I were to print message, and I'll comment this out. Alright, and this is what I get. It says I will not come to school late anymore, and it will print it like 100 times over here. Like that, if you have any elements like this that you want to repeat multiple times, this will work just fine. Alright, although you cannot go and manage individual values, but you can actually make them repeat multiple times in this way. Alright, so that's one feature that is available. I think this feature is also available in list. I think I didn't talk about it that time, I didn't remember, but anyway. Next, what you can do is you can also access individual elements of a tuple, right? So for instance, if I wanted to access, let's say Paris, okay, I'll just write it down here. Accessing entries of a tuple. Okay, let's say I want to access the entire tuple. All I have to do is print it out like this, and print it out like this. Let me run this and show you, and there you go, it prints the entire thing. What if I just want to pick only Madrid, right? If you want to pick that, all you have to do is say print and then the tuple name, and then you have to count which index it is. So this is index number 0, 1, 2, 3. So I want Madrid number 3. So that's that, right? Also, what you can do is you can use negative indices as well. All right. So here's the thing. Python has two sets of indices, positive indices and negative indices. Positive indices go from 0 to 0 to n plus n minus 1, and they are all in up, and they are all in increasing order, whereas and they go forward, whereas negative indices start from -1 and they go from reverse. So for instance, here Paris is 1, 0, Göttingen is 0, Kiruna is 2, this is 3, 4, 5, like that. Rome, which is the last entry, has an index, it's called -1. So this is -2, this is -3, -4, -5, -6, and so on and so forth. So if I were to say this, if I want to access Madrid, I can either type cities of 3, or I can type cities of -3 in this example, and both of them will print the same value. If you're not believing me, well, let's test the code itself to see it for ourselves. And there you go, it prints Madrid twice. Now final thing is that you cannot delete entry in a list, entry in a tuple. For instance, if you want to type deleting entries in a tuple, let's say you want to do that. Let me try to delete one city, Rome in the city. If I were to type del and then type cities, and then I type minus, and then I type -1. I just want to delete the last entry, and if I were to run this, I'll get an error. It says type error, tuple object doesn't support item deletion. There you go, you can't delete particular entries. On the other hand, what you can do is, okay, I'll write a comment over here, can't delete entries. However, it can delete entire tuple. So if you want to delete an entire tuple, what you can do is just a del and the tuple name, and that's it. So and then if you were to print cities over here, check this out. This will automatically throw on, so I'll comment it. Now if I were to run this, it gives the print statements on the top pertaining to these and Madrid as well, but it will give an error saying name error, name cities is not defined, meaning this is not available anymore for us to access. And there you go. These are some of the things that you have to keep in mind while working with tuples, and this is still a basic version. And when we're actually going to deal with list and when we're actually going to deal with variables, loops, and all of that, tuples and all will come a lot more handy. Alright, when that time comes, you'll actually get an access to the full power of what lists and tuples can do. Till then, let's wait. And the next video, I'm going to talk to you guys about an interesting concept that actually is a major difference between list and tuples called mutation. So till then, take care.